Hello guys, welcome to Find Luxe. Saudi Arabia has just revealed plans for the world's largest and most ludicrous mega project. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman intends to construct two 500-meter tall parallel skyscrapers stretching 170 kilometers across mountain and desert territory. The Mirror Line proposal would be the equivalent of constructing 2001 World Trade Centers adjacent to each other twice, because only 12 skyscrapers in the world have reached 500 meters in height. Constructing 4,000 of them at the same time and in the same location appears to be a crazy concept. So, why has Saudi Arabia made such a bizarre announcement? Can they pull it off? Or are they merely attempting to grab international attention? Few governments in the world can boast a transformation strategy as ambitious as Saudi Arabia's. In 2016, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia launched Vision 2030, a diversification plan to reduce the country's reliance on oil and diversify the economy towards tourism, technology, and other areas. Since then, they have announced a comprehensive plan named Neom, meaning New Future. Neom will be a futuristic smart city comprised of 3 huge mega projects. The initial phase of the project is the Octagon, an 8-sided floating industrial complex that will act as a port for trade routes via the Red Sea. In addition, the city will include a significant outdoor skiing destinations in the Arabian Peninsula called Projena, where entertainment and activities will take place throughout the year. None of these proposals, however, are as lavish as the Mirror Line, which was initially revealed in January 2021. More specifics about this proverbial line have lately been released, and to call it mad would be an understatement. So, what is the Mirror Line? It consists of two 500-meter tall structures that will run parallel across 170 kilometers of desert terrain. These parallel structures will have mirrored exteriors and only 200 meters of space between them to accommodate a population of 900 million people. The linear city will extend from the coast of the Red Sea Gulf of Aqaba into the country, cutting across mountains and arid terrain. Walkways will connect the two mirrored faces. The majority of the interiors will be vertically built with public parks, offices, and homes stacked on top of one another. So, they aim to layer typical city infrastructure vertically on top of each other. Not only that, but their objective is to be 100% sustainable and to use cutting-edge technology. Vertical gardening will be built into the 500-meter high walls to feed those living inside. In addition, the construction is expected to incorporate a yacht marina and a sports arena raised to 305 meters above the ground. Is it nevertheless feasible to construct? Is it ever going to be? The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia has called the Mirror Line a revolution in society, but it appears to be a vast wonderland that will come to life straight out of a fantasy novel. Saudi Arabia plans to build parts of it by 2030 and house over 1 million people. However, while humanity has constructed some gigantic structures in some of the most difficult environments, the Mirror Lines just promises too much in too little time. Saudi Arabia's recent track record in the constructions of remarkable skyscrapers is also not promising. The Jeddah Tower, for example, which was supposed to be the highest skyscraper in the world, is still on hold and has only reached around 1/3 of its initial proposed height. On the other hand, Saudi Arabia is home to the world's 4th highest tower. The Mirror Line is unlike anything else ever built. However, it is comparable to the big ideas of Illinois over 60 years ago. This structure was meant to be 1 mile tall, which was ridiculous at the time. The Mirror Line, like Illinois, may be limited to paper, or in this case, 3D representations and marketing movies. But this time, the entire world is watching, and about 50 million individuals have already seen one of their trailers. So, why would Saudi Arabia propose something so unusual when the claims are almost certainly unattainable? Saudi Arabia has been on a rebranding spree since Mohammed bin Salman took over the country's affairs. Mirror Line projects are part of that rebranding push and are sure to garner international attention. Saudi Arabia wants to be viewed as a country with a lot more to offer, and they want to diversify their economy into tourism. But for the time being, the majority of tourists to the country come from a pilgrimage. Saudi Arabia aspires to be perceived differently in the international community, as evidenced by headline-grabbing announcements, such as the Mirror Line. The project also carries significance for Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman personally, who has equated it with some of the Middle East's biggest mega projects and sees the Mirror Line as my pyramids. Neom is meant to be Saudi Arabia's architectural landmark, and launching an incredible project in the middle of it will heighten interest. Neom is also described as a vision of what a new future might look like on the website. As a result, it might also be considered a study project for alternative city structures and modern transportation systems. Saudi Arabia has effectively grabbed international attention with the unveiling of the Mirror Line. However, the majority of replies have been negative. Many questions go unanswered. They intend to develop a city with 100% sustainable transportation and zero emissions, yet there is no discussions of the tremendous carbon footprint that such a project will leave behind. According to Oldfield's estimations at the University of New South Wales, constructing the line would emit about 2 billion tons of CO2, which is more than 4 years of total CO2 emissions in the UK. When considering the massive building emissions, the idea of establishing a carbon-neutral metropolis doesn't sound very plausible. Furthermore, critics have been quick to point out Saudi Arabia's human rights record. And the human cost of Saudi Arabia's ambitions has already been calculated. Several indigenous tribes have resided in towns and villages in the region for hundreds of years. According to foreignpolicy.com, over 20,000 individuals have been forced to relocate to make way for Neom. Saudi security forces have also been accused of killing at least one development protester. The country has also failed to enact comprehensive labor reforms, resulting in rampant mistreatment of migrant workers, and the authorities have provided no path for addressing the issue thus far. A shaky human rights record has been a hot topic, posing challenges to garnering money for the trillion-dollar mega project. The planners wanted to entice foreign investors, but the country is still mainly ostracized by the West, and economic collaborations are met with oppositions. Even if the finances are obtained, some of the plans for Neom and the Mirror Line are simply too complex to be realized. The majority of observers feel that the final designs will appear quite different from those displayed on media platforms. Based on what we have seen so far, Saudi Arabia lacks the expertise to make most of its recent claims a reality. Even with foreign assistance, the Mirror Line project is too large to finish over the next few decades. Another crucial question to raise about the Mirror Line is if people would want to dwell in such a region. For the time being, we consider the Mirror Line as a concept idea for many ways of living. However, the concept is vastly oversimplified and faces numerous challenges, including the aforementioned human rights violations and practicality. For the time being, it remains an unattainable task, and a more realistic strategy would be to incorporate some of these future concepts into Saudi Arabia's existing cities. But what are your thoughts on the Mirror Line? Could it ever be created, or will it always be a science fiction fantasy? Comment your thoughts below. If you enjoyed this video, you can like this video and subscribe to this channel for more.